She'd wanted to drown herself in the lake, but a whirlpool dragged her into another world. When she woke up, she found herself in a strange room, surrounded by people with blank-faced expressions and fresh surgical scars. A chill went down her spine. First, figure out where this place is, she thought, then find a way to escape. Suddenly, a drooling, heavy-set woman leaned in close, a snot bubble inflating in her nostril. The girl recoiled. The woman just stared at her dumbly. Awkwardly, the girl scratched her head and asked where they were. But the woman could only babble incoherently. A slogan was printed on her clothes: "The Center for Human Sustenance." The thin girl's jaw dropped. She thought she'd been captured by some secret research organization that wanted to turn her into a freakish half-human, half-thing. The thought alone was enough to scare the life out of her. Just then, she saw the shadow of a wolf cast on the wall outside the room. She slowly walked toward it, holding up her own hand to compare it to the massive paw print. She couldn't shake the feeling that the wolf was staring right at her. The door swung open. She whipped her head around to see a fox-like beastman walk in, his two furry ears twitching. The girl's jaw nearly hit the floor. She scrambled back into the crowd, her mind racing. Had she been transported to a world of monsters? And it wasn't humans studying beastmen, but beastmen studying humans? A beastman started walking toward her, and her heart clenched. She was about to speak, but she realized that none of the other humans here seemed to be able to. Fearing that a single word would get her eaten, she decided she absolutely could not reveal that she could talk. At that moment, someone draped a piece of clothing over her shoulders and said gently, "Don't be afraid, I'm taking you home." With that, he swept her up into his arms. Trembling, the girl looked up at the tall, handsome beastman and realized he was the one who had cast the wolf shadow on the wall. She was still wondering why this wolf beastman wanted to take her home when the fox spoke up. "Brother Wolf, I have to remind you, this female is extremely frail." She was originally slated for the breeding department. Every beastman is only allowed to purchase one in their lifetime. Female, the word stunned the girl. Had the humans in this world been reduced to pets for the beastmen? She pinched her own cheek hard. The sharp pain confirmed it wasn't a dream. The red-furred fox urged the wolf beastman to reconsider. The girl felt her world collapsing. She didn't want to be sent to a breeding department, to be a baby machine. She reached up, grabbed the wolf beastman's ears, and pretended to adore him, silently chanting, pick me, I can do anything, you don't have to walk me, and I'm super low maintenance." A shiver ran through the wolf beastman. The truth was, he had chosen this frail girl from the very beginning. She had been kept in the defective ward, where most humans were sent to the breeding department for beastmen who couldn't afford a healthy female. The red fox had suggested he choose from another ward, insisting that only the fattest, healthiest females were worthy of him. The wolf beastman waved his hand. "I don't just want fat and healthy. I want one that's smart, one I can communicate with." Just as the fox was fretting, the wolf beastman spotted the girl in the room and was instantly captivated. The girl, seeing his shadow through the glass, had looked right at it. The wolf beastman was shocked. "She can see me?" "It's one-way glass," the red fox said. "It must have been an unconscious gesture." The wolf beastman placed his hand against the glass, and the girl inside mirrored the action, placing her hand against his. He was overjoyed. "She's interacting with me." Outside the room, the wolf beastman lowered his head, letting the girl knead his ears. The red fox was flabbergasted. No wonder she has tranquilizers in her system. "How can you let someone just rub your ears in public like that?" "Tranquilizers?" the wolf beastman asked. "Probably for treating some kind of illness," the fox replied. The girl's heart sank. In her old world, she hadn't been sick. But they'd sent her to a sanatorium anyway. Now she definitely didn't want to be sent to the breeding department. She had to make this big gray wolf take her. She hugged him tightly, nuzzling against his chest to show her affection and trust in her new master. The red fox, however, just said, "Her mental illness is acting up." Like an enraged little animal, the girl turned and let out a low growl at the fox, telling him to shut up. The fox jumped back. "Such strong aggression! This female is too dangerous." A smirk played on the wolf beastman's lips. "She's only like that with you. Now take me to do the paperwork." The girl breathed a sigh of relief. The red fox was speechless, but could only offer his silent blessing. He offered to prescribe some more tranquilizers for the girl, which made her panic. She didn't want to go bald from taking too much medication. Just as she was trying to figure out a way to refuse, the wolf beastman spoke. "That won't be necessary. As long as I'm here, she won't be a danger, no matter how agitated she gets." His eyes were full of adoration. A warmth spread through the girl's chest. Can I really trust him? The price for the girl was 10,000 contribution coins. The wolf beastman raised a fist, his expression darkening. The red fox quickly explained, "That's already a bargain. The female with the intellect of a 5-year-old costs several $100,000, and she's the only one we've managed to cultivate in nearly a century." The girl was floored. What was wrong with the humans here? She decided to continue her silent act. The red fox insisted on the 10,000 coins, not a single one less. The wolf beastman's eyes narrowed, his knuckles cracking. The fox turned green with fear and quickly offered a discount. The wolf beastman waved it off. No need, she's priceless to me. The little fox let out a silent sigh of relief. Yes, yes, of course. Have you thought of a name for her? The wolf beastman looked at the girl with deep affection, gently pinching her thin cheek. He decided to name her Lily. The red fox immediately praised it as a wonderful name. After the paperwork was done, the wolf beastman, Kale, carried Lily home. He didn't know that a group of beastmen was waiting for them, all hoping to join his team. Kale was the world's top warrior, and everyone assumed the female he chose would be top tier as well. As Kale approached with Lily in his arms, a cheetah beastman eagerly ran up, hoping to be recruited. But when he saw Lily, he froze. She was as scrawny as a twig, with barely any meat on her bones. The crowd was deeply disappointed. The cheetah declared Lily's quality was terrible, worse than the females in the breeding department. A cold sweat broke out on Lily's back. "All of you, get lost!" Kyle roared at the crowd. The yellow-furred cheetah was sent flying. The others, terrified, scattered in all directions. Kale smiled at Lily. "It's okay, I can provide for you all by myself." Lily was stunned. "Does it cost a lot of money to raise me?" Kale carried his new pet home. Soon he heard footsteps behind him. His eyes narrowed as he turned to see a bear beastman blocking his path. Lily gasped silently. What a huge black bear. What does he want with my master? She subconsciously clapped a hand over her mouth. Oops, how did I start calling him master so naturally? Kale's face was grim. I don't need teammates. The large black bear pointed at Lily. She needs someone to look after her. Kale's eyes narrowed as he quickened his pace, carrying Lily away. It dawned on Lily that the bear beastman was applying to be her nanny. She sighed. Looks like my dumb master is pretty poor. No wonder he picked the cheapest pet. But a short distance later, the big black bear was following them again. When they arrived at Kale's home, Lily was utterly shocked. He wasn't poor, he was just cheap. Kale opened the door, and a giant pitcher plant came into view. Lily, fascinated, trotted over to it. The next second, the plant shot out a vine and swallowed her whole. Furious, Kale tied up the pitcher plant. Lily was scared out of her wits. Why is this wolf growing such a dangerous plant in his house? Is he trying to train his reflexes? Strangely, there were almost no plants on the streets in this world. Yet the air was exceptionally fresh. As she was lost in thought, Kale tilted her small, thin face up. I'm going to tell you my name now. You have to learn it. It's very important. Lily was confused. Do pets need to know their master's name? Then again, being able to boss her master around didn't sound too bad. The wolf beastman introduced himself as Kale and told her to repeat after him. Lily was about to speak when she remembered that most humans in this world couldn't talk. If she repeated his name, she'd blow her cover. She didn't want to be put on display for all the beastmen to gawk at. Better to play dumb for now. She pretended not to understand, staring at him blankly. Kale just ruffled her hair, thinking he was being too hasty. Just then, a delivery of supplies for Lily arrived. Kale went out to get them, telling her to play on the bed. Once Kale was gone, Lily let out a sigh of relief and flopped onto the bed. That was close, almost blew it. Suddenly, a strange feeling came over her, and she started bouncing on the bed like it was a trampoline. Outside, Kale was checking the supplies when he heard a loud crash from the room. Thinking something had happened to Lily, he burst in with the speed of a man who's been single for 200 years. He found her bouncing back and forth on the bed, full of energy. A smile tugged at his lips. Looks like I made the right choice. My Lily is amazing. But after a few minutes, Lily was panting and exhausted. The next moment, she fainted on the bed. Kale rushed over to check on her and found she had simply fallen asleep. He carried her to the bathroom to clean her up. Lily's hand slipped into the water, and she groggily opened her eyes to find herself draped over the big gray wolf Kale. She scrambled backward in terror. The feeling of his furry, wet wolf coat made her so scared she could have wet herself. She tried to stand, but the fur was too slippery. She stumbled and fell back into the tub, gulping down bathwater. Luckily, Kale pulled her up in time, saving her from either choking or drowning. Soapy water got into her eyes, but Kyle just stared at her blankly. The more she rubbed her eyes, the harder they were to open. She cursed her dumb master internally. Let's have privacy too! Rinse my face and get out! Mortified, she dunked her head under the water. Kyle chuckled. Lily really is smart. He used the shower head to rinse the soap from her face, and then helped dry her off. But one of her eyes still wouldn't open. Seeing that it wasn't clean, Kale actually licked the corner of her eye with his tongue, then held her face. There, all clean now. Lily's face turned as red as an apple. She grabbed his ear, fuming internally. Control your canine instincts, stop licking me! She stood up with a splash, angrily trying to get out of the tub. But one look around made her freeze. The bathroom was full of obstacles she couldn't climb over. She knew nothing about this world. Even if she escaped this house, the beastmen outside were like a pack of hungry wolves. Without Kale's protection, she'd probably be eaten without a trace. With that thought, she sat back down in the water, telling herself to calm down. It's just a bath. I used to give my dog baths when I was little. Seeing her calm down, Kale decided to get it over with quickly. Soon she was all clean. But the thought of Kale washing her body and even using a razor to trim her hair short made her furious. You big bad wolf, you're in big trouble now. I'm going to fight back. Suddenly, she remembered Kale saying that females had to be kept clean to avoid infection after giving birth. The word birth sent a shiver down her spine. He's not going to make me go on pet dates, is he? After her bath, Lily was starving. Kale immediately carried her to the dining area. She expected a delicious meal, but what she saw in her bowl made her stare in disbelief. It was wood chips soaked in water. She was fuming. You smelly wolf, you're feeding me soaked wood. She watched as Kale picked up a block of wood from the table and started chewing on it with relish. Lily was dumbfounded. She never would have guessed that beastmen ate wood. Kale held out a pill. A wave of fear washed over Lily, and she buried her face in his muscular chest. Didn't you say you wouldn't give me medicine? Did you change your mind because I was causing trouble? Kale gently stroked her head. This is a pill to help you fill out. You're too thin. Lily thought back to all the times people had tricked her into taking medicine by telling her it was candy. But she was afraid he'd force-feed her if she refused. So she came up with a plan. She popped the pill in her mouth and opened wide to show him. Kale was taken aback. Lily is so smart. She seems to understand a lot of what I say. He didn't notice that she had hidden the pill under her tongue. To properly hide the pill, Lily knocked a block of wood off the table, making Kyle bend down to pick it up. While he was distracted, she pulled open her collar and dropped the pill inside her clothes. When Kale handed her the wood, she chose to eat that rather than the pill. But when he brought the soaked wood pulp to her lips, she took a tiny taste and grimaced. The scratchy wood was impossible to swallow. When she heard Kale say he had also mixed a fattening powder into it, she instinctively spat it out, choking and coughing. There was no escaping it. She grumbled to herself, "You're not turning me into a fatty." Being overweight is not healthy. But what could she do? The medicine was mixed in the food, and she couldn't just eat it and spit it back out. Lily pushed the food away and switched to her ultimate weapon, pouting, acting cute, and playing pitiful. To her surprise, it worked. Kale immediately threw the food away. Lily was secretly delighted. It actually worked. Kale's weak spot is so easy to exploit. Just as she was feeling smug, Kale planted a loud kiss on her cheek. Lily's face instantly flushed, and she clapped a hand over his mouth. Meanwhile, the bear beastman had been waiting outside Kale's house, thinking about Lily the whole time. When he saw Kale come out carrying her, he rushed over, luggage in tow. Lily felt a pang of sympathy. It seems like jobs are hard to come by for beastmen. Kale told the big black bear to leave, saying he didn't need a team, and wouldn't share Lily with any other beastman. The bear reached out to touch Lily but was met with a harsh glare from Kale. He instinctively flinched but still didn't give up. Kale told Lily to close her eyes, then let out a roar at the bear, shifting into his beast form with a whoosh. Just as he was about to attack, Lily's heart tightened. They both looked terrifyingly strong. This could get ugly. She rushed forward to stop them. Kale quickly soothed Lily. Don't be afraid, we're not going to fight. He then turned and walked away, holding her. They arrived at a luxurious shopping mall. Lily finally saw food that humans could eat, and pointed at the fruit on a counter, indicating she wanted some. She was eagerly anticipating a big dragon fruit, but the cashier turned around and put the fruit in a microwave. It'll be ready in 3 minutes, he said. Lily was completely baffled. You have to microwave fruit? A few minutes later, a steaming hot roasted dragon fruit was ready. Lily was speechless, but she ate it anyway. It was better than wood pulp laced with fattening powder. But the pet clothes she was wearing were incredibly inconvenient. It was a one-piece with a zipper, and going to the bathroom was always an embarrassing ordeal. Just then, an ad played on the mall's screen for the developing female. For those with poor physical growth, a must-have supplement for every family with a female, the Plump Up pill. It dawned on Lily. The pill Kale gave me is the same one from the ad. He wasn't lying. Thinking about how she had never developed properly, she realized the Plump Up pill was exactly what she needed. She decided to eat the pill she had hidden in her clothes. Suddenly, a deer beastman approached them. Kale's eyes narrowed. Who are you? The deer beastman trembled, explaining he was a clothing store clerk. Lily had spotted a dress in the store and pointed at it. Kale immediately took her inside to try it on. Try on clothes? Lily's heart sank. She was sure he wouldn't let her wear it himself. Worse, she was afraid he'd discover the pill hidden in her clothes and find out she was faking being dumb. She couldn't risk being dissected by beastmen. Lily rushed into the dressing room to get the pill, but her gloved hands were too clumsy, and she struggled to get her jacket off. Kale thought she was playing hide and seek and was about to push the door open, but he found it locked from the inside. A cold sweat beaded on Lily's forehead. She finally managed to get the jacket off. Just then, the dear clerk arrived with a key to the dressing room. She was running out of time. At the critical moment, just as the two beastmen burst in, she finally got the pill out. As Kale opened the door, she took advantage of the brief darkness as the light switched on to swallow the plump-up pill. By the time the lights were on, she was already dressed, though still panting. Kale scooped her up in a panic, blaming himself for not knowing how to take care of a female. He silently vowed to learn as quickly as possible. He asked if she wanted to try on any other new clothes. Lily's big eyes blinked as she nodded. Kale melted and planted another kiss on her cheek. After buying the clothes, they left the store, unaware that a few shady beastmen were following them. Kale took Lily to an arcade. There were many human pets inside, but all of them were female. Lily was wondering why there were no males when Kale set her down. I have to go upstairs for a class on how to care for females. I'll be back in an hour to pick you up. Lily's heart clenched. She was afraid of running into those bad beastmen alone. She grabbed Kale's pant leg, wanting to go with him. The little wolf's heart thumped in his chest. It was the first time he had felt so needed by a female, but he had to learn how to take care of her, so he gently pried her hand away and kissed her forehead. Be good. I'll be back soon. With that, he turned and went upstairs. Lily was exasperated. How did I end up with such a clingy master? She decided to use his absence to investigate the situation of humans in this beast world. Suddenly, a heavyset girl rushed over, yelling that she wanted the fruit in Lily's hand. Lily was shocked. She can talk? Does that mean I can talk too? The next moment, her foot slipped, and she landed flat on her butt, earning a round of laughter from a group of male beastmen. So that's the female Kale picked? What an idiot. Lily was fuming. These beastmen were clearly looking for trouble. I need to be careful. They continued to insult her, and Lily clenched her fists. A lion beastman swaggered up with a sleazy grin. How about you come out and play with Big Brother? Lily turned and ran, but the lion beastman caught her. Lily slapped him hard across the face. One of the other beastmen warned his captain, "That's Kale's female. He'll be furious if he finds out." Lily nodded vigorously, trying to signal that Kyle was indeed very powerful and they should let her go. But the lion beastman was fearless and insisted on taking her. Lily grabbed her fruit and smashed it against his head. "You big brute, let me go!" The lion beastman snatched the fruit so angry his cavities ached. He gave the fruit to his own human pet. Lily felt her world crumble. She had been starving since she arrived in this world. She lunged forward to get her food back, but the lion held it tight. She bit down hard on his hand. The other beastmen were aghast. The lion beastman grabbed both her hands, intending to make a quick getaway. Lily knew this had to be revenge. If they took her, she'd be in real trouble. In a moment of desperation, she yelled, "Go away!" The single, clear word stunned the entire room. It was the first time these beastmen had heard a female speak so clearly. They all thought she must be a rare specimen. The lion beastman was ecstatic, now even more determined to have her for himself. Oh crap, I messed up and revealed myself. Fear gripped Lily. When Kale found out Lily had been taken, he flew into a rage and tore the arcade apart. Tell me, which scumbag took my Lily and where did they go? The lion beastman Cyrus dragged Lily into the jungle, moving as fast as lightning, nearly shaking her to pieces. He had taken her to frame Kale for losing a female. According to the Beast World's Female Protection Act, if a female was lost, even if she was found, the center would forcibly reclaim her. Cyrus was gloating, certain that Kale would have to beg to join his team. Lily realized that humans in this world were more than just simple pets. She didn't want to be reclaimed. She had to escape and get back to Kale. Just then, a kangaroo beastman leaped into the air, tossing her around. Seeing the heavyset girl, Patty, sucking her thumb nearby, Lily got an idea. She started tickling Patty, who burst into laughter. The beastman heard the noise and stopped. Cyrus let them both out of the kangaroo's pouch. Patty, now afraid of being tickled, hid behind Cyrus. Lily pretended to hide behind another beastman, making it look like she was just playing with Patty. Cyrus fell for it. But just then, the kangaroo beastman warned that Kale was catching up. Cyrus grinned. It was simple. He pointed at Lily. Hide her! Lily wasn't about to let him succeed. She looked around and spotted a dragon fruit tree. An idea sparked. She ran to the tree and shouted, "Fruit! Fruit!" Patty saw it and started clamoring to eat. Dragon fruit was delicious, but the trees were extremely aggressive. Still, for the sake of his pet, Cyrus ordered all the beastmen to pick the fruit. Lily's heart leaped. She took the opportunity to turn and bolt. She ran back the way they came with the speed of an 18-year-old single girl. She thought she could escape by retracing her steps. But halfway back, she came to a fork in the road. She chose the brighter path, marking a tree in case she got lost. She kept running until she was out of breath. Suddenly, a dark shadow loomed behind her. "Who's there?" she whispered. She looked back but saw nothing, thinking it was her imagination. But the next second, she froze. The tree in front of her had the mark she had just made. Was she walking in circles? Meanwhile, Kale had reached the jungle. He caught Lily's scent and followed it to the beastman who had taken her. His face contorted with rage. With a roar, he launched himself at Cyrus, grabbing him by the throat. "Where is she?" Cyrus pointed deep into the jungle, trembling. She was eaten. Elsewhere, Lily realized she had run into a monster, guessing it was a trap set by the trees. She closed her eyes, trying to find the main body of these trees. A moment later, she realized with a shock that it was a moving banyan demon. All the tree trunks were its roots. She carefully avoided the roots, but a vine shot up from the ground and whipped toward her. Lily dodged, but twisted her ankle with a snap, falling flat on her face. As she tried to get up, another vine wrapped around her ankle and flung her into the air with a whoosh. Lily grabbed onto a branch, but the vine wouldn't let go. "This is it," she thought frantically. "I'm going to die. Someone please save me." Kale forced Lily's location out of Cyrus, and, certain she was still alive, sprinted deeper into the forest. Just then, the vine suddenly released Lily's foot. She was wondering how she'd been saved, when she looked back and saw a wolf fighting the banyan demon. Kale had saved her. Tears welled in Lily's eyes as she cried out his name. Kale seemed to hear her and let out a triumphant howl. Then his eyes hardened as countless vines swarmed toward him. Lily didn't want to distract him, so she tried to get to a safe spot. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind blew past, and several beastmen appeared before her. What a thin female, why is she all alone? Lily wondered who was speaking. She looked up and nearly fainted. Before her stood several tall, imposing beastmen. The leader, a massive lion, was the chieftain of this world. Lily thought she had run into another group of bad guys. The great lion picked her up and demanded, "Who is her male?" How could he leave a female alone in the forest? A beastman replied, "It's Kale." The chieftain's face darkened. A massive explosion echoed from ahead, and a powerful shockwave rolled over them. Everyone assumed Kale was done for, but Lily's eyes lit up. Kale, leading a group of beastmen, burst out from the chaos. Everyone was amazed, and Lily was overjoyed. Kyle rushed toward her, and in a blink, he snatched her from the great lion's arms, landing in a ridiculously cool pose. The master and servant tearfully embraced. Kale held her tight, kissing and hugging and lifting her high, nearly squeezing the air out of the frail girl. Realizing he was being too rough, Kale quickly loosened his grip. Lily gasped for air. "I'm saved." This caretaker's enthusiasm was overwhelming. He was like a clingy, adorable wolf pup, always planting kisses on her cheeks. The other beastmen stared in awe. Lily grabbed both of Kale's ears. "Can't you break this bad habit of kissing people all the time?" The gesture made everyone's jaws drop. The fierce wolf warrior had turned into a little puppy. They were all incredibly envious. The bad lion beastman, Cyrus, felt a bit slighted, thinking his own human pet could do the same. He tried to nuzzle his ears against Patty, but she just started whacking him with a piece of fruit. Afterward, Kale accused Cyrus of kidnapping Lily and nearly getting her eaten by a banyan demon. But Cyrus refused to admit it, instead blaming Kale and claiming he had beast syndrome. He even bribed the arcade's security guard to give false testimony. Kale was so angry his fangs ground together. Lily saw right through the lie. The bad lion gloated while the other beastmen started to think Kale was the more likely culprit, all agreeing that he was the one who lost Lily. Lily was trying to figure out how to expose Cyrus and win the chieftain's trust. But the next moment, Cyrus was hugging the chieftain's leg, crying about how wronged he was. The chieftain patted his head, saying that since it was one person's word against another's, they would investigate thoroughly back at the city. Lily was speechless. Kale let out a cold laugh. "A nest of snakes. What's the point of pretending to investigate?" With that, he shifted into his beast form and lunged at Cyrus. The two were instantly at each other's throats, a battle about to break out. At that critical moment, Lily ran straight at the bad lion, grabbed a handful of his mane, and started pulling with all her might. Kale frantically told her to let go, that it was too dangerous. Lily had no choice but to speak. "My fruit, bad lion?" Kale froze, then turned to glare at Cyrus. "You stole Lily's food?" Cyrus was at a loss for words. Lily sighed in relief. "The little wolf cub is smarter than he looks. The rest is up to you." Kale asked the chieftain how Cyrus should be punished. The chieftain glared at Cyrus and demanded to know if Kale was telling the truth. Cyrus trembled, saying nothing. The chieftain had to turn and ask Lily. Kale quickly stepped in front of her, roaring, "Chieftain, Lily is smart, but she can't communicate normally yet." Lily nodded, then spoke again. "Yes, he ate my fruit." She pointed at Patty. Kale's face lit up with pride. "You're a genius," he praised. The chieftain asked Lily who she was with before she got lost. This was the moment Lily had been waiting for. She pointed at Cyrus and huffed, "Him? Him bad lion?" The chieftain was stunned, his mouth open wide enough to fit an ostrich egg. The crowd erupted. What a smart female! She can speak so clearly. Lily realized she had been too obvious. I need to be more careful in the future. Furious and embarrassed, Cyrus shot back that Lily had bitten him, proving she was mentally unstable and lying. Kale fiercely defended her. Lily is perfectly sane and she doesn't lie. The fact that she bit you proves that you abducted her by force. Cyrus panicked, unable to respond. Just then, a bear beastman stepped forward to testify for Kale. Cyrus cursed him as a traitor. The bear didn't want to go against his conscience. He was more impressed by the clever Lily and exposed Cyrus's scheme. Seeing this, the other beastmen who had been with Cyrus also came forward to testify against him. The bad lion was so scared he wet himself. The chieftain exploded with rage and ordered him to be arrested and brought to justice. Kale picked up Lily, ready to go home. On the other side of town, the big black bear, Bruno, was still waiting outside Kyle's house, cleaning out the drainage ditch. Lily wondered what he was doing. When the big bear saw Lily, his face lit up. He unconsciously wiped his large hands on his pants and went back to his work. Lily felt a bit sorry for him. He seemed so honest and hardworking. Maybe Kale will change his mind and let him stay? Kale walked toward the bear. Bruno's eyes lit up, thinking he finally had a chance to join the team. But Kale just walked past without a second glance. Bruno's heart sank. Seeing the bear's dejected look, Lily wanted to help. She tossed him an edible block of wood. Bruno caught it, his heart pounding as he looked at the food that Lily had been eating. In the beast world, a female only gave food to a male she liked. But Lily was just trying to be nice, with no other intentions. Back home, Lily was devouring roasted fruit. Kale wondered why she was still so hungry after eating the special wood, guessing she must have suffered a lot in the forest. His eyes narrowed and he slammed his fist on the table. I will never let Lily be in danger again. He stormed out of the house and glared at the black bear. But Bruno refused to leave, insisting that Kale's team needed help. Kale gritted his teeth and surprisingly invited the black bear inside. Lily, who had just finished eating and was hiccuping, was surprised to see Kyle walk in with Bruno behind him. I can't believe Kale actually got me a nanny. Kale picked up Lily and told Bruno to find a room for himself, then carried her to their room to rest. Bruno, wanting to make a good impression, asked Kale what he needed him to do. Kale's face darkened. I'll call you if I need something. He then carried Lily off for a bath. Lily tried to convince herself. First time's awkward, second time's a habit. I'll get used to it. Seeing her shy and adorable look, the little wolf cub couldn't resist planting another kiss on her cheek. Lily's face flushed crimson. While kissing pets was common in her old world, this level of intimacy felt unsettling. She decided she had to establish some authority with Kale. With a splash, she stood up and stared at him with a serious expression. Startled, Kale instinctively froze, and to his own surprise, actually knelt. A small smile played on Lily's lips. You mess with the bull, you get the horns. Kale looked at her scrawny little body, then lifted her out of the water and was about to call for the black bear. Seeing this, Lily scrambled out of the room, running right into a very surprised Bruno. The black bear blushed furiously. In that instant, Lily's shriek nearly brought the house down. Kale threw Bruno out. Lily was on the verge of tears. Being a pet is terrifying. A little while later, a trembling Bruno brought her the plump-up pill. Lily was exasperated. She didn't want the big bear feeding her. But the pill was already in front of her. Thinking it was better to just get it over with, she swallowed it in one gulp. The big black bear stared at his own hand, his heart thumping wildly. Kale told him to get some water. Bruno, his mind completely filled with thoughts of Lily, didn't hear a word. Kale's eyes narrowed and he kicked him out of the room again. Though Bruno landed on his butt, he was ecstatic. He knew following Kale was the best decision he'd ever made. Kale closed the bathroom door and walked over to Lily, holding out a sparkling crystal. Lily gasped at its beauty and was about to reach for it, but Kale quickly pulled it back. Say my name again and I'll give it to you. She pouted and huffed, dumb wolf. Kale paused, then held the crystal out to her again. Call me Kay. Lily opened her mouth slightly. Hey. The wolf was full of anticipation. She's going to say it. But instead, Lily swallowed the crystal whole. Kale's jaw dropped. He grabbed her mouth, telling her to spit it out. But the crystal was already down her throat. Lily started chugging bathwater, trying to bring it back up. Kale stroked her head reassuringly. It's okay. These transparent crystals are non-toxic. But you must never eat the colored attribute crystals. They can be life-threatening. Lily nodded. Don't worry, I wouldn't eat something so dangerous. Kale praised her for being so good and lifted her out of the tub. Lily's eyes grew heavy and a wave of drowsiness washed over her as she fell into a deep sleep. She didn't know that the crystal was slowly dissolving in her stomach, transforming into streams of rainbow-colored light. Unbeknownst to her, Lily was evolving. The next day, Lily woke up feeling refreshed and clear-headed. Suddenly, her vision sharpened, and she could see into the other rooms. Thinking she was still half asleep, she closed her eyes and tried again. Her vision extended all the way to the yard before it faded. Lily was shocked. She had always been able to sense others' spiritual energy, but she never thought she would have it herself. Remembering the crystal she'd swallowed, she realized what had happened and was thrilled. If I can collect enough spiritual energy, I won't have to be a beastman's pet anymore. After getting up, she saw a note Kale had left. Following the instructions, she pressed a switch and heard his recorded message. Lily, the big dummy bear, and I have some errands to run. We'll be back in 2 or 3 hours. Be a good girl and wait for me at home. Lily's eyes lit up. She had over an hour to herself. Finally, a chance to properly investigate this world. Meanwhile, Kale and the black bear, Bruno, were at the Beast Administration Bureau, processing Bruno's residency application. At the last moment, Kale stopped him. Bruno thought he was having second thoughts. Kale laid out his terms for residency. I am the absolute leader of this household. You are not to get close to Lily without my permission. Bruno's face fell. Seeing him silent, Kale thought he might have misjudged him. If you're not willing, you can still... Before he could finish, Bruno raised a fist and shouted, I'm willing, I am. His shout drew the attention of everyone in the hall. He declared, I want to help you take care of Lily. Only then was Kale satisfied and he approved his residency. Bruno had finally joined their family and could help Kale care for Lily. Bruno couldn't wait to get back to see Lily. But Kale's eyes narrowed as he reprimanded him. You need to study how to care for a female and especially how to control yourself. Bruno's face flushed and he resolved to suppress his impulses. At the same time, Lily was at home, poring over books to learn about this world. She was so engrossed that she didn't notice the glove she had flushed down the toilet had clogged the pipes, and water was slowly flooding the floor. Then, while trying to rescue the little bird, Lily was swallowed by the pitcher plant in the yard. Just as she was about to lose consciousness, the wolf beastman, Kale, heard the commotion from inside. Thinking Lily had been kidnapped, his heart seized. He rushed home with the speed of a man who's been single for 20 years, kicked down the door, and rescued her from the plant. Lily could finally breathe, but her lips were turning purple. He's been poisoned, Kyle yelled, rushing her to the Beastman hospital and frantically calling for a doctor. Hearing that a human female had been poisoned, a veterinarian immediately led them to an examination room. A group of doctors surrounded Lily, inspecting her. Seeing the fuss, Lily thought she must have been seriously poisoned, though she felt fine. The doctor urgently asked Kale what the source of the poison was and how she'd ingested it. Kale explained that she'd been caught by the pitcher plant in their yard. The doctors all froze, exchanging confused glances. Well, is the poisoning serious? Kale pressed. After a thorough examination, the doctor said there were no visible signs of poisoning. He asked Kale to remove Lily's outer clothes to expose her arm for a blood draw. Lily blushed and started babbling, pulling up her own sleeve to show that he didn't need to take her clothes off. The sight of her slender, pale arm made everyone stare. Kale gently took her hand as if it were made of glass, but the doctor slapped his hand away. You've already cut off her gloves? They could hurt themselves if they touch things. Lily cringed. Really? Are humans here that fragile? Luckily, she wasn't injured. Kale was puzzled. Her clothes had been fine when he dressed her. He figured the pitcher plant must have torn them. I'm digging that thing up when we get home. He had no idea Lily had cut the gloves herself and flushed them down the toilet, which was now causing their house to flood. After drawing blood, the doctor sent a nurse to run tests. He commented on how thin Lily was, worried she might have other health problems. Kale praised her for being so brave, not even crying during the blood draw. Lily secretly rolled her eyes. It's just a blood test, not like I'm a 3-year-old. This dumb wolf is making such a big deal out of nothing. Suddenly, they heard crying from a nearby room. It was another human girl, afraid of getting a shot. Lily froze. The patients were all male beastmen with human girls, and the doctors and nurses were all male beastmen too. In all her time in the beast world, she had never seen a female beastman or a human male. Are humans and beastmen different species? How could they even be together? The thought sent a shiver down her spine, and she let out a small cry. The doctor reminded Kale not to let Lily get cold, explaining that the other girls were crying because they felt unwell from the chill. Kale gently caressed her cheek. I will. Looking at Lily, who was as thin as a reed, the doctor said her thinness was unhealthy and wanted to prescribe a weight gain supplement. Lily was appalled. Being overweight is what's unhealthy, you quack? She stomped her foot in frustration, and to show these beastmen what true health looked like, she started doing gymnastics, kicking her leg high in the air. Kale's jaw dropped wide enough to fit an ostrich egg. The doctor was so shocked he started to stutter. Lily was secretly pleased. Impressed by my physical fitness, huh? I don't need any weight gain supplements. To her horror, the doctor assumed she had a mental problem and wanted to prescribe tranquilizers. Lily felt her world crumble. She buried her face in Kale's chest, shaking her head. No, I'm not taking any medicine. Kale was certain she was mentally sound and guessed her behavior was due to the pitcher plant. Just then, the nurse returned with the lab results. The doctor took one look and his eyes widened. "What does it say?" Kale asked anxiously. The doctor shook his head like a bobblehead. "I've never seen a report like this." Lily trembled. "If even the doctor has never seen it, is there any hope for me?" Kyle also assumed the poisoning was severe, but the doctor quickly clarified. "The female isn't poisoned. This is the healthiest report I've ever seen." Lily let out a sigh of relief. Kale scooped her up and joyfully tossed her into the air. "It's great! Lily, you're the healthiest female." Lily found that she actually enjoyed being tossed in the air. The doctor was baffled. She's so thin, yet all her stats are perfect. Could it be that being thin is actually better for females? After registering Lily with her own dedicated doctor, Kale prepared to take her home. He asked casually, "How did you get caught by the pitcher plant in the yard? Did you open the door yourself?" The mention of the pitcher plant made Lily huff. "You're the one who planted that dangerous thing, and you have the nerve to ask me." Then the word home made her heart drop. "Oh no. I turned the house into a pigsty and nearly flooded it." When Kale saw the state of their home, he initially thought they'd been robbed. But the only scent in the house was Lily's, and he instantly knew it was her doing. Lily frantically waved her hands, playing dumb to deny any involvement. "Lily, did you do this?" Kale's face darkened, ready to discipline her. Lily flinched and immediately switched tactics, deploying her ultimate weapon. She started whimpering and making cute noises, her eyes welling up with tears. The wolf beastman melted instantly. His heart softened, and he turned to go clean up the bathroom. Lily paused, then it hit her. The flood in the bathroom was probably because I flushed the gloves. Just as she was thinking this, a roar came from the bathroom. Kale stomped out, holding the shredded glove. "Lily, did you cut this? Who told you could use a knife?" His angry tone startled her, and she pouted, her eyes filling with tears. "Kale is being so mean. I just used a knife, what's the big deal?" Seeing her like this, Kyle's heart softened again. But then he thought, if I don't set boundaries now, what if she gets into real danger later? He had just steeled himself to punish her. When Lily whispered, "Don't like," Lily doesn't like. Kale froze. "You don't like the gloves?" Lily nodded vigorously. "The gloves are to protect your hands," Kale explained. Lily grumbled internally. "This dumb master is so full of himself. The gloves are so inconvenient. It feels much better to have my hands free." She looked at her own hands and smiled. Kale's anger vanished. He gave her a gentle tap on the forehead as a small punishment for playing with knives. Then he pulled her into his arms. "If you don't like them, we'll cut up the rest of them too." He decided not to restrict her choices anymore. A warmth spread through Lily's heart. She leaned in and planted a kiss on her wolfmaster's cheek. Kale's heart pounded in his chest, and he hugged her even tighter, nuzzling his face against hers. Lily felt a strange sensation. Just as they were having a tender moment, a thump, thump, thump came from the door. "Is that Bruno? Perfect timing." She scampered off to open the door. Kale was fuming. Who is this jerk interrupting at a time like this? The door opened and Lily shrank back. Weren't you locked up?" She quickly hid behind Kale. Seeing her fear, Kale roared at the beastman outside. "You're scaring Lily, you criminal, Cyrus!" The lion beastman, Cyrus, broke into a cold sweat. Lily was shocked. Did the bad lion escape from jail? He has a lot of followers, they could be hiding nearby. She used her spiritual energy to scan the area but found no other beastmen. Is he alone? He's no match for Kale, even with 10 more guys. He wouldn't come here just to die. It turned out Cyrus was there to deliver fruit as part of his sentence. Kale took the fruit. "We have dragon fruit. Bring something else next time." Cyrus was furious. "Are you ordering from me now? Do I look like a restaurant?" Kale sprayed the fruit with disinfectant. "You harmed and kidnapped a female, and your only punishment is to bring Lily fruit for a year. That's far too light." Lily was flabbergasted. Is the legal system in the beast world this much of a joke? Cyrus tensed. "What are you planning?" Kale's eyes narrowed. "The criminal shows no remorse. The victim requests a retrial." Cyrus clenched his fists, then bowed. "I'm sorry, I lost my composure. Whatever your female wants to eat, I will find it." He had to endure this to get his sentence reduced so he could compete in the chieftain's challenge. "I'll let you know when I've decided." "You can go," Kale said, turning back inside. Lily stuck her tongue out at Cyrus. "Serves you right, you bad lion." A thought struck Cyrus. This female is so clever. Compared to my own fat female who only knows how to eat, she's on a whole other level. He couldn't help but take a couple of steps toward Lily. Kale whipped around. Before he could do anything, the big bear, Bruno, grabbed Cyrus. Learning that this was the lion who had kidnapped Lily, Bruno was enraged. "You harmed Lily. You deserve to die." Cyrus was so scared his teeth chattered. "I've already been judged by the law. You can't take matters into your own hands." Bruno's face was darker than charcoal. He lifted Cyrus up and with a mighty heave threw him into the sky. The beastmen in this world roasted all their fruit. something Lily as a human just couldn't stomach. She pointed at the fresh fruit, indicating she wanted to eat it raw. Kale thought she had a strange craving. He ruffled her hair. That's raw, you can't eat it. He then mixed several kinds of roasted fruit together and handed it to her. Lily pouted. What's the difference? It's still roasted fruit. She stared at Kale's hand and, in a daze, it started to look like a giant chicken leg. Chomp! She bit down. Kale nearly jumped out of his skin, thinking she was angry with him. Lily batted her big eyes and mumbled, Meat. Want to eat meat. Meat. Kale paused. Then a slow, mischievous grin spread across his face. Be good, you'll get to eat meat later. Lily's heart leapt. I finally get to eat meat. Kale sighed at her innocence, telling her she had to finish her roasted fruit first. Lily immediately opened her mouth obediently. Nearby, Bruno watched with shining eyes, wishing he could be that close to Lily. To achieve that, he scarfed down his own food in a few bites and got up to start his chores. Kale told Bruno to prepare Lily's fattening medicine first. Lily's face fell. Here we go again? When will this dumb wolf give up on fattening me up? After mixing the medicine, Kale blew on it to cool it and brought it to Lily's lips. Lily turned her head away, her mouth clamped shut. If you don't take your medicine, Dr. Bao will have to come give you a shot, Kale threatened. This only made Lily angrier. She pulled out a pill, signaling that she would only take the breast-plumping pill, not the fattening medicine. Kale gave an awkward laugh and tried to force it on her. Lily spat the medicine out with a puff. She turned and ran toward Bruno. The big bear's eyes lit up, thinking she wanted him to hold her. He opened his arms wide. She just darted behind him. Kale walked over, medicine in hand, insisting she drink it. Lily huddled behind the bear, trembling. Seeing this, Bruno stepped in. Lily probably doesn't like the taste. Forcing her like this could cause a stress reaction. Kale thought for a moment and decided not to force her today. Just as Lily breathed a sigh of relief, he added, Tomorrow I'll make the fattening medicine taste just like the breast-plumping pill. Lily should like that. No! Lily's jaw dropped and she bolted from the room. Kale told Bruno to clean up and then rest, while he went to find Lily. Bruno, remembering how Lily had clung to his back, felt a warm, fuzzy feeling. He only wanted to be closer to her. Kale found Lily in her room, her back turned to him. He quietly climbed onto the bed. Thinking she was asleep, he wrapped his arms around her. Lily sighed. This dumb wolf is so clingy. The next morning, Lily woke up and wanted to find Kale, but then remembered she was still protesting. I can't go looking for him. Just then she heard a rhythmic thump-thump from the yard. She went out to see Kale pulling up the pitcher plant, his muscular body glistening. Lily was mesmerized. Kale turned and gave her a bright smile, and her heart started to flutter. It's so hot. Why is my heart beating so fast? Am I getting heat stroke? Kale walked over to her and said he was taking her to the amusement park later. An amusement park? Lily was stunned. Like the ones she went to as a child? Ever since she was sent to the sanatorium at 9, amusement parks had only existed in her dreams. How she longed to break free, to run and play freely in an amusement park. Lost in thought, she started running out of the house. Kale chased after her with a leash, which startled her so much she ran faster than a rabbit. She did not want to wear a leash harness. It was too humiliating. She was running so fast that she crashed into a little beastman child. Luckily, Kale caught her just in time. Lily looked at the little beastman and her eyes widened, thinking it was a human boy. Kale picked her up, but she struggled out of his arms. Wait, kid, let me get another look. She grabbed the boy's collar and his hat fell off, revealing a pair of beast ears. Only then did Lily realize he wasn't human. The little beastman snarled at her. Kale glared at him, and the little one immediately whimpered and ran to his father. Kale asked the father, My female scared him. How can I compensate you? The father ruffled his son's head. It's fine, my kid is tough. Come on, let's go ride the bumper boats with Mom. Lily froze. His mom is here too? But she hadn't seen any female beastmen. Just then, Kale pulled out the leash harness again. It seemed she couldn't escape this torture after all. A troubling thought crossed her mind. After all this time, why haven't I seen a single female beastman or a human male? One day, she finally spotted a big, fat chicken, and her mouth started watering instantly. She pointed at the chicken, signaling she wanted meat. Kale quickly covered her mouth. You can't eat that meat! Eating animals is forbidden in the beast world! Lily was fuming. Yesterday you said you'd get me meat, and now you're taking it back. She angrily pushed him away. Kale could only try to coax her. Lily, be good. Roasted fruit is much tastier than meat. Lily spotted a container of hot soup on a vendor's counter, and then glanced at the eggs in a nearby basket. An idea struck her. She had Kale buy a cup of the soup, and, when he wasn't looking, she snuck over to the basket and grabbed an egg. All she had to do was drop the egg in the hot soup, and she'd have a boiled egg. When Kale came back, Lily jumped out from behind the basket, snatched the soup from his hand, and dropped the egg inside. Then she saw the bubble balls in a nearby pool and her eyes lit up. The perfect spot for a picnic. She pointed at the bubbles and exclaimed, "Play balls!" Kale was surprised, thinking she wanted to be alone with him. He was thrilled, but was promptly kicked out of the bubble. He grabbed her foot, confused. "What's wrong?" Lily pouted, signaling she wanted to play by herself. Kale gave an awkward laugh and picked up the cup of soup. He felt something moving inside. "There seems to be something in here." Lily's heart skipped a beat. She snatched the cup and zipped herself inside the bubble ball. Kale, afraid the soup would spill, told her to bring the cup out. But she just hugged it tightly and whimpered, refusing. He just chuckled and ruffled her hair. "You can take it in the ball, but don't open the lid." Lily nodded eagerly. The moment the bubble was sealed, she plunged into the pool with the cup. The cheetah beastman managing the attraction remarked, "Your female really knows how to have fun." Kale's lips curled into a proud smile. She's not just smart, she has her own opinions. She even picked the soup herself. But as he thought about the soup, something felt off. He looked up and saw Lily eating something inside the bubble. The cup only had soup in it. What was she eating? Then it hit him. She stole an egg from the basket. He and the manager immediately jumped into a boat and rowed toward her, Kale baring his teeth in panic. "Lily, stop!" Lily was drooling over the egg. Just as she was about to take a bite, Kale burst in. She quickly shoved the egg into her mouth. Kale pinched her cheeks. "Spit it out! Eating animals is illegal!" Lily chewed stubbornly, refusing to open her mouth. In a moment of desperation, Kale opened his own mouth and sucked the egg out of hers. An incredible, delicious flavor spread across his tongue, and he froze. "This is amazing." The cheetah manager's jaw dropped. "Oh my god, that female is eating an egg." Kale quickly spat the egg out. "I sucked it out. She didn't swallow it." Lily's face turned beet red. "That dumb wolf kissed me again." Meanwhile, Bruno was carrying fruit home. When he overheard some beastmen whispering, Kale was feeding his female an egg at the amusement park. When animals had evolved into beastmen, many species had nearly gone extinct, which was why eating meat was forbidden. Bruno rushed over. "Kyle fed Lily an egg. Is she okay?" A familiar voice called out. It was Kale carrying Lily. The bear was worried that eating the egg had harmed her. Kale explained, "I had the doctor check her. She's fine. I sucked it out in time so she didn't eat much." Lily touched her lips, her face as red as a sunset. As soon as they got home, she locked herself in her room. She suddenly realized she had been too naive about her situation. She had thought that with Kale's affection, being a pet for life wouldn't be so bad. But his affection was still bound by the rules of the beast world. Not being able to eat meat was a small thing, but who knew what other bizarre rules existed? What if one day she was forced to breed? She curled up in a corner, completely lost. Outside her door, Kale told Bruno he was going to catch a chicken for Lily. Bruno's face turned pale. "Are you crazy? Eating animals is illegal," Kale said calmly. "I tasted the egg today. It was delicious. The chicken must be even better. If eating meat doesn't harm her, then I should give her what she wants." Bruno was skeptical and terrified. Lily heard their conversation from her room and was so moved she started to cry. She slowly opened the door. Kale looked at her and made a solemn promise. "Tomorrow I'll go catch you a chicken." But 2 weeks passed, and he hadn't caught a single feather. The chickens were hiding in a sugarcane forest, and the sugarcane there had become sentient and aggressive, attacking any creature that wasn't a chicken. It turned out the chickens ate the insects in the forest, and their droppings fertilized the sugarcane, creating a symbiotic relationship. Catching a chicken there was nearly impossible. Suddenly, Lily clutched her stomach, crying out in pain. "Oh no," she thought, "my period." Bruno smelled blood and immediately became alert. There were no other beastmen or humans around, which made the scent of blood very strange. Lily was on the verge of tears. Of all the times for this to happen, Bruno, fearing danger, wanted to take her to a more populated area, but Lily struggled fiercely. Being surrounded by a crowd would be social suicide. But with every movement, the bleeding worsened and the pain sapped her strength. Meanwhile, Kel had finally caught a chicken. He too smelled the blood on Lily. Bruno guessed it was a hallucinogenic plant making Lily feel unwell. Kyle's heart clenched. "What? Give Lily to me." When he took her, Bruno noticed blood on his own arm and thought Lily had injured her bottom. But Kale knew better. Lily's not hurt, she's just growing up. Back home, Kale gave her some medicine for her period, which eased the pain. Lily thought to herself, "This little wolf cub is surprisingly thoughtful." Kale noticed a hair on her lips and reached out to brush it away. His fingers accidentally touched her lips with a soft smack. Lily's cheeks flushed. "His hand is so warm. Something feels strange." Kale stared at her intently. He thought he might have pinched her cheek too hard, and leaned in to check. "Let me see, did I hurt you?" Lily grabbed his wolf ear. A jolt went through Kale's entire body. Noticing his strange expression, she quickly let go and tried to dive under the covers. but he caught her wrist and pinned her to the bed. "What are you doing? Let me go!" Lily was both shocked and flustered. Kale was burning up, beads of sweat dripping onto her face. His voice was hoarse. "Lily, I like you." Lily's heart pounded. She tried to tell herself he just meant it as a master likes a pet, but Kale swallowed hard, gently lifted her face, and kissed her. Lily's mind went blank. She suddenly shouted, "Bear! Bear!" Bruno rushed in at the sound of her voice. Lily pleaded with her eyes for help. Kale pulled her clothes straight. "Bruno, get out!" But the bear scolded him. "You're being too hasty. The book says you can't do this when a female is on her period." Lily's pupils dilated, her mind a chaotic mess. Kale calmed down and smiled. "I've waited this long. I don't mind waiting a few more days. I'll make Lily willingly become my mate." That sentence made Lily's brain shut down completely. No wonder she'd never seen a female beastman. No wonder Kale had been so overly familiar with her. She wasn't his pet at all. She was his intended mate. Kale shooed Bruno out and closed the door. Seeing she wasn't covered, he gently pulled the blanket over her and planted another kiss on her cheek. Lily was a whirlwind of emotions, completely unable to understand this world. The next morning, she saw Kale typing on a computer. Thinking she could learn more about the world, she went over, clamoring to see. Kale just smiled and pulled her into his lap. An idea sparked. She rubbed her stomach and whined, "Tummy hungry, want meat?" Her adorable act was irresistible. Kale immediately got up to cook and told Bruno to bring the chicken. While the two beastmen were gone, Lily quickly checked the computer. The truth hit her like a lightning bolt. Over 2,000 years ago, humanity, facing environmental collapse, created a plant growth accelerant that went out of control, leading to an apocalypse. The survivors tried to genetically modify male animals to fight the plants, accidentally creating the powerful beastmen. Humans survived under the beastmen's protection, but the beastmen soon stopped taking orders. To ensure their own procreation, they began to domesticate human females and drive out human males, leaving them to fend for themselves. Over time, beastmen and humans could only produce male offspring. They found the last 3 remaining human males and used them for breeding. But due to inbreeding, modern human females suffered from severe intellectual disabilities and other genetic defects. Learning the truth, Lily completely broke down. After discovering she was Kale's mate, not his pet, Lily had a complete meltdown and bit his arm hard. Kale, thinking she'd seen a scary cartoon, quickly comforted her. "Don't cry, Lily. We'll go eat chicken right now." Just then, Bruno brought in the roasted chicken. Kale glanced at the charred, blackened bird in his hands and was speechless. "By my grandmother's ghost, did you cook this with dynamite?" Bruno quickly peeled off the burnt skin, revealing the meat underneath, and offered it to Lily. Kale was still skeptical. "It's cooked like that. Are you sure the inside is edible?" Lily picked up a salt shaker and sprinkled it evenly over the meat, her movement so practiced that both Kale and Bruno stared in amazement. Lily really is a genius. Kale couldn't help but praise, tearing off a small piece to try. The moment it hit his tongue, an unparalleled savory flavor exploded in his mouth. Bruno, seeing his strange expression, thought something was wrong with the chicken. He grabbed it and took a huge bite, his face immediately lighting up. "Meat is this delicious!" The two exchanged a knowing look and, completely forgetting about Lily, started devouring the chicken themselves. "Didn't you say you were making this for me? Why are you eating it all?" Lily was on the verge of tears, puffing out her cheeks in protest. Kale snapped back to reality and quickly handed her a large piece of meat, then ordered Bruno to go catch more animals. Bruno was confused. "We still have plenty of chickens at home." Kale shot him a look. "I want to experiment. Maybe there's meat out there even tastier than chicken." Lily paused. Did I just open up a whole new world of cuisine for this dumb wolf? With him as an ally, researching normal food would be much easier. She was about to tell him about being from another world, but Kale noticed her gaze and asked, "What's wrong? Do you have something to tell me, Lily?" The words died on her lips. A sly grin spread across Kyle's face as he slowly extended a wolfish claw. Lily shrank back. "Don't you come near me." But he only gently wiped a bit of grease from her face. Lily let out a sigh of relief. Just as Kale was about to go hunting, Bruno suddenly spoke up. "We should probably hold off on hunting for a bit. The Chieftain's challenge is in a few days, and you need to prepare." Lily was delighted, more entertainment to watch. Faced with the tough competition, Kale looked completely confident, without a hint of fear. "You big dummy, while I'm gone, don't take Lily out casually. The smarter the female, the more we need to protect her." She froze. "Looks like I have to keep up the act." That night, just as Lily fell asleep, the sugarcane outside began to grow wildly. The next morning, she was woken by the noise and was shocked to see the house surrounded by a dense wall of sugarcane. Bruno quickly reassured her. "Don't be afraid. The barrier weakened ahead of schedule yesterday, causing the sugarcane to grow like crazy." Lily was confused. Bruno, remembering a tip from a book that said you could win a female's favor by talking about things she's interested in, began to explain. When the beast world was first born, most of the land was covered by plants. Beastmen had to constantly fight them to survive. After generations of exploration, we finally found a way to combat the plants, and sealed away the most dangerous ones. When a seal weakens like now, the plants go on a rampage. Seeing no reaction from Lily, Bruno thought he'd made it too complicated. Lily just gave a non-committal "oh" and pretended to be deep in thought. Bruno was amazed. Wow, Lily is so smart, she understood all that. Lily wanted to facepalm. Why did I say "oh"? I almost blew my cover. She quickly played dumb, sticking her butt in the air and crowing like a rooster. Chicken poop! Bruno was completely baffled. He gently pinched her cheek and gave an awkward laugh. So Lily didn't understand after all. I'll just tell her a simpler story. And so the big black bear started rambling on about trivial matters related to chicken poop. Lily was so embarrassed she could have dug a 3-bedroom apartment with her toes. Suddenly, a series of roars from nearby broke the awkward silence. It was the day of the annual Chieftain's Challenge. Bruno carried Lily to the arena, arriving just in time for Kale's match against Cyrus. Lily's heart tightened. That bad lion will probably try to cheat and hurt Kale. Bruno lifted her onto his shoulders so she could see the stage. According to the rules, both competitors had to remove their clothes and personal items to prevent hidden weapons. While Kale was scanning the crowd for Lily, Cyrus silently stepped onto the stage and while Kale was distracted, whipped out his belt. Just as Kale spotted Lily, he heard a whistling sound and dodged just in time. Below, Lily and Bruno held their breath. Kale was furious, but Cyrus just looked smug. Unable to stand it any longer, Kale shifted into his beast form. Cyrus continued to taunt him. The battle was about to begin. The beastmen in the stands noted that Cyrus, as the chieftain's nephew, was already using psychological tactics. But the chieftain just snorted. What psychological tactics? With the power gap between him and Kale, the angrier Kale gets, the worse Cyrus will lose. Just then, Lily shouted from the crowd, "Oh, dumb wolf, you got this!" The chieftain was stunned. It was the first time he had ever heard a female cheer for a male. Hearing Lily's encouragement, Kale's confidence soared, and he lunged, sinking his teeth into Cyrus. Lily excitedly waved her little hands. "You're amazing, dumb wolf. Take down the bad lion." The other beastmen were astonished, all remarking on how smart Lily was. But Bruno shot them a death glare that made them wet their pants and turn away. Feeling the arena was too hot and unsafe, he took Lily to the female's resting area. A cool breeze washed over her. "It's so crowded and open. Why does it feel like there's air conditioning? Is this some new Beast World tech?" Meanwhile, on stage, Kale and Cyrus were locked in a fierce battle. When Lily saw Kale get slashed across the neck, her heart ached. Bruno reassured her that Kale was much stronger, and the scratch was nothing. Kale moved like a blur around Cyrus, who couldn't track him. Seizing an opportunity, he launched a fatal attack, biting through Cyrus's neck. The bad lion writhed in pain, screaming, "I give up, let me go!" The crowd erupted in cheers. Kyle had won. He shifted back to his human form and trotted over to Lily. Lily quickly closed her eyes, relieved that Bruno had brought clothes for him. After several rounds, the top 10 challengers were selected. The chieftain leaped down from his platform, and with a whoosh shed his outer garments. Who's first? The 10 challengers who had just been so boastful immediately lost their nerve. No one stepped forward. Cyrus sneered, "A bunch of cowards." A beastman next to him suggested he go first, but Cyrus just punched him. "Who are you to tell me what to do?" Seeing no one else would go, Kale stepped up. Lily worried that going first would be a disadvantage. Kale ruffled her hair. "Don't worry, I'll be fine." He then ran to the challenge platform and, shifting into his beast form, let out a long howl. The chieftain smirked and his own clothes tore apart as he transformed into a massive lion, twice Kale's size. Lily gasped, "What a huge lion!" Kale knew he couldn't win in a direct confrontation and decided to wait for his opponent to make the first move. They circled each other until finally the chieftain attacked. Lily noticed something. The chieftain's spiritual energy was radiating outward with his movements, while Kale's formed a protective barrier around him. Kale used a powerful move, teleporting around his opponent, but the chieftain saw it coming. Too slow! As the claws swiped, Kale dodged and leaped, pushing his speed to the limit to bite the chieftain's neck. The chieftain dodged, and the platform was smashed, leaving a giant crater. The crowd was amazed. Kale is so strong, the chieftain might be replaced. Only Lily saw the truth. Kale was using all his strength, and his spiritual energy was weakening, while the chieftain was clearly holding back. Kale fought with increasing ferocity, chasing the great lion and nipping at his hindquarters. The crowd was shocked. Is the chieftain getting weaker? He's being chased. Lily tried to focus her spiritual energy to sense theirs. but was distracted by the noise. Bruno, thinking she was scared, covered her ears. Only then could she see clearly that while Kyle seemed to have the upper hand, his spiritual energy was fading, while the chieftain's was much more solid. The great lion continued to dodge. Kale roared in frustration, gathering his spiritual energy for one final blow. The chieftain's eyes narrowed, and he deliberately let Kale hit him in the eye, then fell to the ground, pretending to be in pain. As Kale lunged, the great lion's expression turned vicious. Just as he was about to strike, Lily screamed, "Don't!" Hearing her cry, Kyle teleported away just in time, narrowly escaping death. Kale was ambushed by his opponent and seriously injured. The great lion saw his chance and moved in for the kill. Kale knew a direct fight would be suicide, so he lowered his front legs and whimpered, the signal for surrender. Everyone agreed it was a wise move. Lily looked at the wounds on his body, her heart aching. But the great lion had no intention of letting him go and lunged at Kale viciously. Kale sensed the killing intent. Lily knew this was bad. She grabbed a nearby piece of sugarcane and threw it, and it landed perfectly in the great lion's mouth. The crowd was stunned, their mouths agape. Bruno immediately rushed onto the stage, blocking Kyle. "Has surrendered! The match is over, chieftain!" The great lion spat out the sugarcane, having won the match. The crowd erupted in cheers. Kale knew that Lily had just saved him. He was sure he had heard her warning, but he couldn't understand how she could have sensed the danger. This went beyond just being smart. Very few beastmen in the entire world could do that. Who was Lily, really? Just then, Lily climbed onto the railing and shouted. Kale was startled. He leaped off the stage and rushed over to her. "Lily, be careful, I'll help you down." Lily threw her arms around him, terrified of being alone again. She finally had a home, someone who was good to her, and she didn't want to lose it. Whether Kale was her master or her mate, she accepted it, as long as he would always be with her. Kale gently patted her back. "Don't be afraid. Beastmen duels are always like this. It's just a scratch on my back." Lily touched the deep gash and started babbling emotionally, trying to say, "You call this a scratch? You dumb wolf, you are almost split in two." Kale could see she was worried about him and affectionately nuzzled her forehead. Lily grabbed his wolf ears, biting and pulling. "Dumb wolf, don't you ever do anything so dangerous again?" The beastmen below thought Lily was having another mental breakdown. The other 9 challengers forfeited, and Leo successfully defended his title as chieftain. The crowd went wild. A glint of malice flashed in Leo's eyes. "I was so close to eliminating that threat. It's all that female's fault." Cyrus rushed over to suck up to him, but the chieftain just held up a hand to silence him and turned to Kale with false sincerity. "Brother Wolf, I'm sorry about that. My energy got a little out of control. I almost killed you by mistake." Lily wanted to slap him. That was no mistake, that was attempted murder. Seeing the chieftain act like a benevolent leader, she couldn't stand it anymore and tugged on Kale's tail, trying to leave. The chieftain glared at her and offered her a piece of sugarcane. "You threw this, didn't you? What an interesting little thing. Did you sense the danger and want to protect your male?" Kale, noticing the chieftain's suspicion, quickly explained, "She just gets excited easily and likes to throw things." He looked at Lily, his mind full of questions. How can she be so smart? Feeling his stare, Lily looked down and pouted. She then took the sugarcane and threw it at the chieftain, babbling while silently cursing. "It's all this bad lion's fault." Kale froze. "Oh dear, she's throwing things again." The chieftain caught the sugarcane with a half smile. "Is it really just overexcitement? I'm not so sure." He thought to himself, "This female reminds me of the prehistoric human females described in the history books." Outwardly, he just smiled. It's fine. It's normal for females to be mischievous. But he was already plotting how to take Lily from Kale. As the crowd dispersed, Lily noticed a wishing well. She expected to see turtles or koi fish, but when she got closer, she was shocked to see it was filled with transparent crystals. She had been wondering how to get more crystals, and this was like a gift from heaven. But the edge was too high for her to reach. The moment her hand touched the water, she thought she saw her mother's face. Bruno pulled out his guide to attracting females, thinking Lily was interested in the well. He was about to explain the crystals when Lily fell into the water with a splash. "Lily, be careful!" In her daze, it felt like a large hand was reaching for her. The water in the well suddenly started to surge. The big black bear grabbed her clothes. "Lily, get out! You're still on your period. You'll get sick if you stay in the cold water." Lily pointed at the crystals in the well. "Want stones?" Bruno handed her 2. "These are for wishes. You can't take them." Lily wanted more. It was now or never. She immediately turned on the charm. "Bruno, get them for me?" But the big bear firmly refused, afraid of bad karma. Lily was exasperated. Why is this big dummy so superstitious? She sighed and resorted to her ultimate move. She walked over to him, grabbed his collar, and planted a firm kiss on his cheek. Out of nowhere, Kale witnessed it all. A wave of jealousy washed over him, and the temperature around him dropped. The great lion chieftain standing nearby taunted, "Tisk, tisk, your female is being so affectionate with your teammate in public. She has no shame." Kale's eyes narrowed, and he ground his teeth, his gaze like daggers aimed at Bruno. The big black bear shivered and quickly let go of Lily. She took the opportunity to jump back into the wishing well, splashing him with a mischievous grin. "Did my kiss scare you, stupid? Let's see you catch me now." Seeing Bruno standing there, trembling, she wondered why he was shaking so badly. The water wasn't that cold. Bruno, however, was touching his hot cheek, his voice trembling. "Lily, I like you too." Lily froze. Why would he say that? His eyes held the same look as Kale's. Isn't he just the nanny? She didn't dare think further. She took a deep breath and plunged her head under the water. A terrifying thought, connected to her not being a pet and Kyle not being her master, surfaced. Could Bruno be my mate too? Her eyes snapped open and she shot out of the water. "No, I can't accept this. I only want Kyle as my mate." Kale strode over and lifted her from the well, frowning. "Who told you could play in the holy water? You'll get sick." Bruno tried to help wring out her wet clothes, but was shoved aside by Kale. "How could you let this happen? Go to the administration bureau and dissolve our family relationship." Lily was bewildered. "You need to register as a household member to be a nanny, or is it—" Just then, the great lion approached with a fake smile. "Brother Wolf, calm down. If Lily kissed him, it means she likes him." Lily was speechless. "Shut up, you bad lion. No one will think you're mute if you don't talk." The chieftain advised them to get along, saying they were all one big, happy family. Lily felt a cold sweat break out, nearly fainting on the spot. For the chieftain's sake, Kale dropped the matter. Lily silently vowed to find out Bruno's true identity. She had a handful of crystals from the well in her pocket. Kale wanted to put them back, but the chieftain said, "Let her keep them. They're no use sitting there." Cyrus sidled up. "The little female is soaked. Be careful she doesn't catch a cold." Lily shot him a dirty look, and noticed his own mate, the heavy-set Patty, being overly familiar with her nanny. It was definitely not a master-servant relationship. Cyrus invited them to his house. Kale was about to refuse, but Lily spoke up. "Let's go." Cyrus was overjoyed and quickly led the way. At his house, Lily tried to ask about Patty and her nanny, but Patty had the intellect of a 5-year-old and was only interested in food. Just as she was getting frustrated, Patty tried to snatch the fruit in front of her. Lily quickly protected it. Cyrus laughed heartily and tried to drag Kale away for a sparring match. Kale refused. "We're leaving as soon as Lily is done eating," Cyrus insisted. As they were arguing, they saw Lily feeding Patty fruit, cooing at her like a child. The little heavy-set girl clamored for more. Lily shot Kale a look, signaling she wanted to be alone with Patty. Kale smiled knowingly and stood up. "Great, I'll go spar with you." With only Lily and Patty in the room, Lily snatched the fruit from Patty's hand. "If you want to eat, answer my question. Are those beastmen outside your nannies, or are they your mates, like Cyrus?" Patty just stared blankly out the window, clearly not understanding. Disappointed, Lily handed the fruit back. Just as she was thinking of another plan, the kangaroo beastman came in. Patty waddled over to him with her fruit, and he smiled, scooped her up, and planted a kiss on her. The gesture was intimate and natural. Lily's eyes nearly popped out of her head. That's how mates interact. So Patty's nanny was really her mate, which meant her own Bruno. An unacceptable conclusion formed in her mind. Bruno is probably my mate too. She locked herself in the bathroom, her mind a tangled mess. The thought that due to the scarcity of females in the beast world, she might end up with more and more nannies and servants made her want to scream, "No, I will never accept this." Suddenly, Cyrus's frantic roar came from outside the door. "Who's in the bathroom? Get out now, Patty needs to go." Kale walked over. "Have you seen our Lily?" Cyrus paused. "Don't tell me your female locked herself in there?" He turned to get the spare key, but then they heard the toilet flush. That doesn't sound like Lily. What female knows how to use a toilet and flush it? Before he could finish, the bathroom door clicked open and Lily walked out, her face expressionless. Cyrus's jaw dropped. You used the toilet by yourself? And your clothes are perfectly clean, not a single stain?" Kale, however, remained calm. He had long known Lily was no ordinary female. He said simply, "I taught her how to use the toilet." Cyrus sneered. "You taught a female that? You're just lazy." The words were barely out of his mouth when the little heavy-set girl in his arms, Patty, suddenly wet herself, soaking him. Lily shot Cyrus a glare. "Look what you did! You made Patty hold it for so long she had an accident. Is this what you call taking care of her?" The thought of being treated like an infant, of having someone manage her every bodily function, made her skin crawl. She turned and stormed away. Kale looked at Patty, who was now surrounded by beastmen changing her clothes and feeding her fruit, and frowned thoughtfully. Even the most intelligent female in the city was completely helpless. Just how smart was Lily? Wolf, let's go, Lily called back to him. Kale snapped out of his thoughts and smiled. Coming. That night, the city echoed with the sound of drums for a bonfire festival. Lily was as excited as a child, pulling a few fluffy cheetah cubs into a dance. Bruno watched her, full of life, and leaned over to Kale. Once Lily's period is over, will you two be having a cub? A happy smile spread across Kale's face. She's been with the tribe for over a month. The center has been tracking our progress. If she doesn't get pregnant soon, there could be trouble. 8 days later, Lily's period finally ended. It had been incredibly painful, but eating a few crystals had helped, though she hadn't felt the same surge of spiritual energy as the first time. She made a mental note to find more crystals. That morning, Bruno brought her roasted fruit. Seeing she still looked pale, he said, I'm going out of the city today to find some restorative fruits for you. Wait, Kyle said, stopping him. After Lily finishes her breakfast, I'll go with you. Lily's heart skipped a beat, then filled with glee. I get to be home alone again. She couldn't help but giggle to herself. Kale raised an eyebrow. What, does Lily want to come too? Lily immediately put on an act, rubbing her eyes and letting out a huge yawn. Sleepy, want to sleep. Kale saw right through her little scheme and burst out laughing, his abs tensing. Lily eyed him suspiciously. What's so funny, you dumb wolf? He reached out and ruffled her hair, gently pinching her nose. If you're tired, then rest at home. With that, he and Bruno left. As they walked, Bruno was still worrying. Is it dangerous to leave Lily home alone? A mysterious smile played on Kale's lips. Don't worry, I'm fully prepared. He told Bruno to wait for him in the forest and then headed toward the surveillance center. Back at the house, Lily made sure they were gone, then transformed into a little wildcat. She chugged a glass of iced soda and smacked her lips in satisfaction. Hoo, it's my time to rule. Finally able to speak freely after holding it in for so long. She even started singing at the top of her lungs. Yo, check it out, Kale is a big dumb cat. She slid down the banister and did a little victory dance in the bathroom. Using the toilet without closing the door is the best. She had no idea that a tiny camera was hidden in a potted plant in the living room, broadcasting her every move to Kale's terminal. She built a simple trap in the yard with a basket and quickly caught a chicken. While plucking it, she got covered in feathers, looking like a little calico cat, but she was having the time of her life. At the surveillance center, Kyle set down his coffee, his eyes wide with amazement. He knew Lily was smart, but he never imagined she could catch a chicken so cleverly. For centuries, beastmen had relied on brute force for hunting, but her method was efficient and effortless, as if she was born with the knowledge. What shocked him even more was how she prepared the chicken, plucking, gutting, and marinating it with a skill that seemed second nature, a technique not found in any Beast World culinary records. Soon, the oven dinged and a golden brown roasted chicken emerged. The skin was glistening and crispy, and the aroma filled the house. Lily's mouth watered, and she took a huge bite. She fanned her mouth, nearly burning her lips. But she couldn't bring herself to let go, eating until her face was shiny with grease. Watching her on the screen, Kale couldn't help but swallow. She's enjoying that so much, he chuckled. I'll have to get a bite when I get back. After eating her fill, Lily patted her round belly and opened the refrigerator. When she pulled out a bright red, completely raw dragon fruit, the expression on Kale's face changed drastically. Oh no, he thought. He'd forgotten to tell Lily a crucial detail. In the Beastmen world, raw dragon fruit was poisonous.